Hi, this is the Unconventional Woman. This is episode 2, the predate vlog, brought to you by the sex, which is not one, by. That's right, Luz Arrigaray. Yeah, I can't do that. Okay. Hey, so, predate. I want to talk about the cons before I talk about the pros because the cons were really overt and the pros were kind of subtle. Like I had to dig. Um, First con. The first two photographs are with sunglasses. I hate this. I mean, I hate it. I hate sunglasses and dating photos. Why would you do that? Are you a celebrity hiding from the paparazzi, or are you trying to get on a date? Okay, so why are you disguising your face? When a guy wears sunglasses in his photos, I just feel like, wow, are you that insecure that you think if I actually see your face, I won't date you? Um, yeah, it's weird. Um, Third photo is pretty good. I like the glasses. It's those wire rimmed Ray-Bans. I have a pair, like a real like vintage pair um, that I bought in Indonesia, but they wore out. Um, but he has these glasses. I thought that was cool. And yeah, and he's nice looking. Um, the other overt con, the first thing he says to me is that I look like this Filipina girl. He knew in Italy. Well, I think it's pretty uncool to like talk about race like the first thing that you meet someone. And then my response to this was like, wait, are you Italian? Um, well, there's an O at the end of his name, and he's talking about meeting someone in Italy. I think he might be Italian. I mean, I can tell from the name. Whereas Filipina, the Philippines was colonized by Spain, so often they have Catholic names, and I do not have a Catholic name, so why would he say this? Um, yeah. And then his response is, yes, I'm half British and half Italian, and I might steal your handbag, so keep an eye on it. And I'm like, really? So the first thing he brings up is like a negative stereotype of Italians. And then I'm just like, that's a terrible stereotype. Well, who's British, your mom or dad? Did you live there? And his mom is British and his dad is Italian, and he moved to Italy when he was 10 years old, and he's also lived in Paris and Hong Kong, and he's just settling in London again. And I'm like, wow, that sounds pretty interesting. He called himself an international gypsy, but I'm feeling that if you worked in Hong Kong and Paris, you are probably not the backpacker type. Uh, so I'm also curious to find out what he does actually for a living. Yes, I'm very curious. And yeah, it's just weird that we would, start with these negative stereotypes. I could think of a lot of positive stereotypes about Italians, like, oh, I, know good coffee, I know good food, I know good wine, I have a warm, expressive personality, unlike some cultures I could think of right now. Hmm. Uh, but no, he says he's gonna steal my handbag. Uh, it's just, I can tell, I think he might be a cool person. It's just that these stereotypes come up because we have to deal each other so superficially in this kind of technology, and then that's all you can think of to say is some surmise about where are you from? So yeah, he might be cool. He asked me to go to this place called Gordon's Wine Bar. So already he's like made a difference by asking me to a wine bar instead of a pub. And then I googled it. It's near Embankment, and it was started in 1890. Like it's the oldest wine bar in London. This is a cool date place, and it matters that it's like a thoughtful. Even if he takes every woman to that place, that's still like a thoughtful choice. So I appreciate that. So yeah, I feel like the pros outweigh the cons here, uh, and I like that I found out the pros in a more subtle way, which means it's almost like unplanned. Um, yeah, so I'm excited. Hi, this is the Unconventional Woman speaking. I'm at Gordon's. It's about to close. It's 9 p.m. Having a really great conversation out there. We can both like hardly get our life experiences and all the countries we've lived in into this conversation. I guess connecting on intellectual levels. I'm still not really sure like what this guy is looking for or why he's dating, or even if he wants to stay in London. So there, there's a lot of questions to be answered. So basically, he's a designer. Like he's worked in fashion for a long time. He had his own underwear line. He's used to the creative end, and now he's more on the people end, the managing end. Really interesting conversation. Well, I'll update you later, tell you how things go. Bye. Hey, this is the Unconventional Woman speaking in Greenwich. This is the post-date video log. It's been a whole week since my date with the Italian underwear designer. I've just been really busy. Yeah, so I left you in Gordon's in the wine bar, which is basically a wine cellar with a terrace. And there's this conversation I can hardly get away from. And the bar was closing. This is the first time this has happened to me. I split a bottle of wine with this guy, and I must have been talking a lot because he actually got a little bit drunk in front of me. Like I could tell from the jerkiness of his movements. And I was definitely still totally sober. It was fine. Like nothing else was impeded about him. It was just funny. So as we're leaving Gordon's, we're having this conversation about Tinder photos and what kind of people just like show their chest or have like a picture of themselves drinking alcohol and their photo. Like, what does that mean? What does that say about you? Is that your identity, your chest, or drinking beer? And he's like, well, and I'm like, well, yeah, at least it explains like what they're after. That is what they're either they're just looking for something physical or they're just looking to get drunk with someone. There's no like guesswork in what are they looking for. Like, well, I don't have that much on my profile. And I'm like, well, what are you looking for? And he said, I don't know what I'm looking for. Okay. And then he said he's only been on Tinder for a few months. And I said, why is that? And he said he broke up from, he exited a 4-year relationship in May. The girl is quite young. She just graduated university. He's 38. she's from England, and they went away to Italy together for a while, for a year, uh, and yeah, and now that was over, and I'm like, hey, I have heard this story before, and guess what? I don't want to be part of this story. I don't want to be the person you date right after your huge romantic long-term thing, because what kind of chances do I have? Um, so we walked across the river. We walked to South Bank. It's a really beautiful night. At South Bank now they have the Festival of Love. They're it's based around the 7 Greek words for love, and I was talking to him about, yeah, usually like philia, which is friendship and shared experience, and ludus, which is playfulness and flirtation, make me have feelings of erotic love. Uh, and he's like, really, actually, I think Eros is just what I'm interested in. I'm like, okay, yeah, you and the other 99%, I guess. um, so, yeah, I didn't really get the sense that we're looking for the same things, basically. He had the kind of face that if you were in a relationship, you would like become affectionate for this face. I don't think he was really that handsome, but he was in really good shape for a 37-year-old. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't think we're looking for the same things, and I think that's really the hardest part of dating, that even though there's so many interesting people and you can, really like someone, you have to figure out whether you're looking for the same things, or just nothing about your interaction with that person could be good in a romantic sense, like maybe in another sense. And it's really important to be able to figure that out in a subtle way without being judgmental of someone in whatever kind of space they're in. So I'm probably gonna pass on this one. He WhatsApped me the next day, which is flattering, and he's like, I've got a cold. And I'm like, too bad for you. Battle scars. I feel terrible. Have work to do. And that's the last I heard of him. So, yeah, no worries. See you next time, The Unconventional Woman.